porque a veces me trataban mal y me siento muy triste, desesperada.
Entonces, tenemos problemas muy serios con la niñez en el tema, digamos, de muertes violentas. O sea, estamos hablando que al día se reporta un promedio de 22 casos.
The scale of the problem here in Guatemala to do with violence against children and abuse and exploitation and trafficking is huge. Just in the first 2 months of this year, I think it was something like 850 children have disappeared. It's just mind-boggling. There's been a lot of pain here. They have to deal with a lot of difficult stuff. Out of the incredible tragedy, some of the worst stories I've ever heard about violence towards children, out of that darkness, something really good is happening. On December the 16th, 2009, Kenneth Lopez, 4 years old, disappeared. It was 72 hours before authorities began searching for him. 4 days later, he was found. He'd been killed and decapitated and buried in his neighbor's garden. The Alba Kenneth Alert Center came about in 2010. Named after Kenneth and another child who was kidnapped and brutally murdered, it mobilizes a nationwide search in the first hours after the disappearance of a child. In 2014, 4,407 missing children were found thanks to the Alba Kenneth Alert System. As well as tackling kidnapping and Guatemala's high child murder rate, UNICEF is supporting children affected by sexual abuse. UNICEF is also making it easier for child victims to testify against their aggressors. Courts around the country now have child-friendly spaces where children can safely testify about the physical and sexual abuse they've experienced. Marisol was sexually abused by her father and went to the justice system and testified in the Gazelle chamber. Thanks to her testimony, her father was sentenced to 7 years in prison. The conviction sent a message to girls and adolescents who have been abused by their parents that the justice system works.
Para que los niños o niñas que son víctimas de eso, que lo cuenten a personas, para que les cuenten a sus mamás o a sus papás de lo que le pasa en la vida, para que ellos no estén toda la vida triste, llorando, amargados y que ellos sean felices.
It's amazing to see the difference that is going on. People are able to come forward with their children and to report what's happened to them and to hopefully bring the perpetrators to justice. Child abuse is widespread here, which makes this UNICEF-supported children's refuge so important. It provides a safe space for up to 25 girls at a time, and it offers psychological and legal support. For all the real tragic and brutal and horrific abuse and sexual abuse and violence that is against children here, it is incredible to know that there are people making something positive happen with the help of UNICEF. There are millions of children all over the world, either the subjects of horrific abuse, horrific violence, or living in fear of it. And so what we want to do at UNICEF is to ask governments all over the world to make violence against children a real focus of their attempts to make the world a better place.